The 13 most common dreams and what they mean. Studies have shown that there are certain dream themes that are common, suggesting a shared human experience. I am Machiel Klerk, a psychotherapist and dream expert. And today we are going to explore these themes. With dreams, you always want to check out whether they refer to an outer level or an inner level. Sometimes you really need to do something on the outer situation. Yet very often, if you change your inner life, the outer life will change accordingly. In this video, we will explore the symbolic meaning behind each of these common dream themes and see how they relate to our own inner life. Being chased or attacked. It's a very common dream. Despite some initial, perhaps negative thoughts about this dream theme, it's actually a very helpful dream where your soul or your unconscious is trying to get your attention. The figure chasing you might symbolize an unresolved issue, a repressed emotion, or an aspect of yourself that you need to confront and integrate. I would encourage you to engage with this pursuer in your dreams. When you wake up, make a little drawing, and then ask the figure what it wants or if it has a message for you. And then write down the answer. And very often, this gives very insightful notions about your inner situation. Falling, another very common dream theme. Falling dreams could be seen as a call or an invitation to let go of control and just surrender to the natural flow of life. They might also indicate a literal fear of falling or failure, or a sense of insecurity in a particular area of your life. You might want to look in your life where you experience that kind of fear. Are you losing control in some area? Are you perhaps falling in love? I suggest exploring where you feel vulnerable in waking life and how you can support yourself. Dying or being injured or ill. Another very common dream theme. Let's start with dying. Dying is the end of something, and often in dreams, this is part of a transformation, the death and rebirth. What needs to end in my life, or what is ending? And allow a facilitation of the ending of that so you can move also to the phase of rebirth and something new. The part on being ill or injured, you want to look at two aspects. Sometimes it's literal. There's an illness or an injury happening to you or somewhere around you. And in another way, you want to look at it symbolically. Is there something ill or injured in your own psyche that needs attention and care? And then figure out what kind of attention and care you can give to that part of yourself. Missing the boat or other forms of transport. Missing a form of transport in a dream might symbolize missed opportunities or feelings of being unprepared in a certain area in your life. What I always suggest with these dreams, look at the emotion that you experience in the dream. What is it like missing? Where do I feel being unprepared? Now, it doesn't literally mean that you're unprepared. It means that you feel unprepared. And that is different. So check always with yourself. Am I really unprepared or do I feel unprepared? And when it is the latter, figure out ways in which you can support yourself with having those feelings. So it's not so much not having the feelings, but it's more, how can I support myself not feeling prepared or feeling insecure, and then still show up in your life in the areas that invite you to engage. The car or other vehicles being out of control. A vehicle very often suggests the way you move through life. Sometimes we're driving the car and the brakes don't work, suggesting that we don't know how to slow down, or the car is speeding up against our own will, and then we want to figure out how can we slow down, how to get back behind the wheel and regain control over your life's direction. Being naked or inappropriately dressed in public. Sometimes in a dream, we find ourselves inappropriately dressed or maybe even naked. We stand in front of a group of people or step into the bus and notice to our own horror, we're completely naked. Dreams of public nudity might reflect fears of vulnerability, exposure, or inadequacy. And then you can look in your own day-to-day life, where do I experience those feelings? And once you know that, there's the invitation or the call. to show up for yourself and support and tend to those aspects in your own life. Tests, exams, or auditions. These dreams might symbolize the pressure you place on yourself. Sometimes this might actually refer to your own inner critic, where you feel that you are being tested and judged. You might really want to figure out, is this really a test that others place on me, or is this an inner dynamic? I would suggest looking at where you feel judged or where you need to cultivate self-compassion and techniques to deal with criticism and anxiety. Losing money or valuables. This dream very often contains a warning. You are losing something that is important to you in your life, whether it is material, emotional, or spiritual. Losing your passport, for example, could have to do with your identity, where losing your car has to do with the way you move through life. Consider what you might be losing at the moment and how important it might be to have it back in your life. Being trapped. This can be symbolized in different ways in your dream. For example, you're being sent to prison for the next 10 years. Sometimes this has to do with limiting situations, such as we're in a relationship or a job or a mindset that is limiting ourselves. And then we need to figure out, how do I get myself out of this situation? How can I free myself? Other times, and that is something I've learned over time, it's actually important to be in one situation and really work it out. The prison could not only be a place of confinement, it's also a place in which we are forced to really think through a situation, or where we need to learn something. And after we've done our time, we are free to go back into the world. However, we're much more enriched and better able to engage with life. Natural or man-made disasters. Disasters such as a tsunami or earthquake in dreams might symbolize overwhelming emotions or events that shake you to the core. I suggest looking what it is that is overwhelming you. Make a drawing of the dream, and then find a place of stability inside yourself, and don't immediately move back to safety, but figure out how you can be fluid or adaptable enough for the shaking to take place so that you can move to the next situation. House or property damage. The house often represents our own psyche or body. Therefore, damage to a house or a property might symbolize something going on with either our physical body, yet most of the time it's psychological. You might want to see this as an indication that something within you needs attention or repair. Once in a while, it also indicates the onset of a physical illness, and therefore it would be good to have a doctor to check it out. Being unable to speak up or move. These are the types of dreams where we want to say something and the words aren't coming out. Or someone is chasing us and we want to run away and we barely can move. Those are important diagnostic dreams. They almost always suggest an area in our life where we again and again fall into a repetitive pattern. Some outer situation usually triggers an inner inability to speak up, or an outer situation triggers in us a certain freeze response. So we might want to figure out where in our life we can reclaim our voice, or where in our life do we freeze up, and figure out ways to become slightly more adaptable in our own body so that we can move better through that area of our life. Teeth falling out. Unlike losing money or valuables, teeth falling out generally reflects being in a transformation and a sense of loss. The first time that this happened in our life, we noticed that a whole set of new teeth came back. The old is giving way for something new. However, we don't know yet what is coming back in. So we're in the early phase of a transition, where we have the understandable fear of losing what we have and not knowing for sure that something new will come back. Think, where in your life are you going through a transition? And where do you have this understandable initial fear of losing the old and not yet knowing where the new will come from? Trust the process. For more ways to interpret your dreams, click the link below for our Unlock Your Dreams Masterclass.